What's up, guys? It's Chris from DroneGeeklanc here today with an interesting and controversial topic to talk about, but also a new format. I'm standing up, holding a microphone, and this is really good for me to just sort of mix things up a little bit. It gets me out of the seated position, which is what I do pretty much all day at my day job, and it also gives me something to look at for videos down the line. This is how it's going to be for the foreseeable future, but let's not dwell on that because I'm sure that you don't care that I'm standing up. I don't really care that I'm standing up, so we move on. Today we're talking about the topic that's become really hot button lately. Is China spying on the United States using DJI drones? Now, some of you might be in the camp of, oh, there's no way that China could be spying on us with DJI drones. And then there's the other side of you that might be saying, well, they could be, and we should really look into this. And then there's those of you that are like way over here and you're like,
it's the brand new InfoWars tinfoil hat with adjustable tinfoil satellite.
And not like I've ever had that in my comments section before. Yeah, I'm looking at you. Now, when I read this comment, I was a little bit surprised. I had never heard of this theory. I never thought it was even a possibility. DJI is a company. They're trying to make money, and the last thing they want to do is alienate one of the biggest marketplaces in the entire world. I mean, even if it does mean government secrets, you have to think that privatization would try to avoid something like this because it would effectively eliminate one of the largest markets in the world for their product. But as I did a little bit more research, I found that this topic is actually pretty hot button across the world, not just within the drone community, but average people are really concerned about this. And it's a step up from that former argument where people were saying, well, you're a peeping Tom, you're looking in my windows, you're being creepy. No, it's not about that anymore. Now it's getting to a point where we're talking, foreign and domestic policies are changing because of drones and the possibilities that they open up. But I'm here today to tell you 5 reasons why China is not using DJI drones to spy on the United States. It's just not happening. So let's jump into it. Reason number 1. The data that DJI drones are taking in is too difficult to pipeline back to China, especially in real time. Now look, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert when it comes to data uploading and transferring and things that are required for live surveillance, but I can tell you that these things, Mavic 2 zooms, they have 4K video capabilities and a 12 megapixel camera. Those files that it's capturing are huge. Not to mention, this isn't even the most advanced camera. This camera right here, it can make, really good quality stuff, but there are cameras way above this. And that means that they're shooting at 8K, 6K, the cameras might be 20 megapixel or more. And those files are just obscenely large. It's not something that's easily sent back and pipelined to China directly. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of skill to be able to manipulate those files in a way that can get back to China either in real time or on a very quick turnaround. Reason number 2. These drones aren't collecting information that you can't find anywhere else. Well, Chris, I don't like it when they're over my property. They can see in and they can see everything going on in my backyard. They can see all my cars. They can see my dog. They can see my wife sunbathing. Yeah, Google Maps. You literally get online and you can look at anything in the world at any moment. Now, are those images real time? No. Are they updated frequently? Probably not. But the fact of the matter is, you can get that information that a drone can collect anywhere else. And there are several resources that are available freely to anybody. You don't have to go deep web, you don't have to go dark web. You can literally get on the regular internet and find the information that these drones are capable of getting on Google Maps, on Google Earth, wherever, whatever map app you want to use, it's available and it's real. People didn't take issue with this when Google Maps came up. Maybe they did, but I was too young to remember those times. But the bottom line is, these drones really aren't collecting anything more than what you see on Google Maps. Maybe a little bit more specific, but again, still not quite what you need to accomplish a surveillance mission, which brings me to my next topic, number 3. Drones are not ideal spy tools. Now, if you've ever flown a quadcopter, much like what DJI has popularized in the drone world, you understand 2 things. Number 1, the cameras are great, but they could be better. And number 2, they are loud. And I mean loud. That's right. First off, these drones are very, very loud. So much so that if you're within about 150 feet of your subject, they're going to hear it. They're going to know something's up, especially if somebody's trying to hide something. They're going to be ultra sensitive to the world around them, which means the sound that the propellers make as they fly in is going to be really clear to them. Now, I know that companies like Master Airscrew have done a great job of creating a product that makes the noise from the propellers just a little bit less, but the overall noise factor is always going to be able to alert somebody. Now, you might say, well, I'll just fly up real high and I'll just point the camera down, they'll never even know I'm there. That's a great idea, except for the camera. The camera is good, but it's not great. It could be better. And what I mean by that is, when you're up 300 feet in the air, the camera's purpose is to capture landscape images, a very wide shot, not a lot of specific detail, but a lot of information that creates a big picture. And that's what the drones do really, really well. But when it comes to actually zooming in on a subject from way high up in the air, unless you're flying one of those big military those things, unless you're flying one of them, you don't have the technology on board to be able to really spy on somebody with any kind of efficiency. It's going to be a very granulated, very blurry image, and unless you have extremely advanced, hyper-enhancing image software, you're not going to be able to get what you need out of it. And you might argue that a government agent is going to have access to that software, but even if they do have an ultra-enhancing imaging software, it's still going to be really difficult to get an image that really yields any kind of information that would be valuable. Those programs still leave a lot to be desired, and the fact of the matter is, it's just not going to happen. There are way better ways to actually conduct surveillance, get the photos and videos that you need, that doesn't include putting a drone in the air and flying it over somebody. It just doesn't happen. Number 4, DJI has one of the most restrictive flight apps on the market. They've gotten so good at setting up no-fly zones with a geofence that pilots actually can't even fly through them to get to their destination. To give you an example, I was flying in York, Pennsylvania one day, and I was just trying to go down the block to see my subject when all of a sudden the drone wouldn't advance anymore. When I looked down at the mini-map on the app, it actually had a geofence that was red that had a no-fly zone over a prison that I didn't know was between me and my subject. So I actually had to fly around the no-fly zone. I couldn't fly through it even just to get across it real quick. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're not allowed to fly over prisons anyway, but I thought, you know what? I didn't even know it was there, so it must not be that big of a deal, right? I'll just fly across real quick, no harm, no foul. No, DJI takes these geofence no-fly zones very, very seriously, and they're set up all over the place, especially over points of interest, things that, I don't know, governments like China might be interested in seeing. The fact of the matter is, DJI has set it up so that it's almost impossible to see anything that you're not really supposed to be seeing according to the United States government through these no-fly zones. So the chances of anything interesting being caught by these drones, pretty slim to none. Number 5, and certainly my favorite and the one I use to start every argument with those tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists, is China doesn't care about the mountains, about the buildings, about your family picnic. Whatever you're using these drones to capture, they don't care. They don't care. The bottom line is, these drones are being used for consumer use. Now, I know, you might have opened your drone business like me, and you might be using these tools to make money and film things that might be a little bit more interesting than a family picnic, but the bottom line is the majority of the drones purchased each year are purchased by hobbyists and people that are just going to use them for fun. That means that they're going to be flying these drones over their backyard, over mountains in, their area. They're going to be flying over things that really don't give a lot of detail about what's going on here in America. So why would China resort to that? Yeah, you might think that it's low-hanging fruit and maybe they'll get something, but who's sorting through all of that data to find out what's going on in the United States? I know I certainly wouldn't, and I know China certainly doesn't have the time to sit down and do that when they could be pursuing surveillance in so many other ways. They've got the military might to actually invest in surveillance technology and find out the things they want to find out. It's not that hard, believe it or not, and I know that's scary, but that doesn't mean we should turn our aggression towards this great company that's making these products that make it very easy for people to get into the drone industry. DJI is really doing nothing wrong. They're sort of like the Guy Fieri of drones because all they're doing is trying to help and provide a product that has a really great experience for the user, but they constantly get shit on just because they're the big boy and they're sort of the guys to beat. And I get it. I really, really do. But if China wanted to spy on us, they might want to go with Autel or another drone manufacturer that doesn't have the flight restrictions that DJI has, and maybe has cameras that are just a little bit better than the DJI cameras. There are a lot of other avenues that China should be going when it comes to drone surveillance. DJI is really not the prime candidate. Well, that's it for me today, guys. It's Chris with Drone Geek Lancaster. If you liked today's video, make sure you smash that like button. It really helps me out, and more importantly, it helps the Chinese government out. China is your friend. China's not trying to hurt anybody, and China just wants to know what you're up to. That's it. Just give them a little bit of information. They won't use it against you. We love China, and China loves you. Always remember to support the Chinese agenda. Support the Chinese people. Nah, I'm just kidding. But really, if you enjoyed the video today, make sure you smash that like button. If you've got a difference of opinion, make sure you leave a comment. Even if I don't agree with you, I really love to hear people's opinions. And if I do agree with you, give me a comment anyway. Show me some support. It helps me out a lot. And while we're talking about helping me out a lot, I am on the quest for 1,000 subscribers. 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, I'm trying to monetize this thing. I'm trying to get this YouTube channel going, and I love creating content for you guys. I love creating different things that inform you, whether it's history, whether it's topical, whatever the case may be. But the bottom line is, unless I can monetize it, it's going to be difficult to keep going. So your support as a subscriber helps me out tremendously in accomplishing that goal. And if you really, really like my content, after you hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell icon right next to it. It's going to send you a notification every time I post a new video, so you can keep up to speed with what's going on with Drone Geek Lancaster. Again, I really appreciate the support, and my channel is growing, and it's great to see it growing, and it's great to see the support just pushing me upward. It means a lot, guys. And if you could just keep going, keep helping me, keep sharing these videos, and keep encouraging your friends to subscribe to my channel, it's going to mean the world to me. Until next time, this is Chris with Drone Geek Lancaster. Have a good day.